All right, so the interior of the mouth, let's take care of that. So actually, let me bring back that tongue, bring back the eyes and the wings. Let's go back to quadra. And this is really the most complex part of the model. Everything else is not going to be such heavy lifting, right? This is the most important part to tackle first. Everything else that flows off of that is relatively simple. So I'm going to stop just to look it up before you can get to the interior of the mouth, and let's examine what we have here. So the rest of the body is really just a series of cylinders. We have a cylinder for the neck, 2 cylinders for the legs, or 1 cylinder for the legs, 1 cylinder for each digit, cylinder, 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 right? So that's all relatively straightforward. It's really tackling this that is the heavy lifting when you're retopologizing. Until you start adding in accessories and you want to make it one unified mesh. That's when it starts getting a little bit more complex. But even then, you model those things out separately and you append them in and you just work it into the same simple structure of the body. All right, so quadra. Let's hit our center line. I'll start with just a few points, and I'll add more as needed, but I'm going to use these as guides to kind of let me know where the center needs to hit, or the ballpark of the center. Let's go ahead and hit the tip of the tongue. Doesn't look like I need to make that live to snap to it. So you know what, I'm going to make a hole for the tongue for right now. Let's do 1 point off to the side here. Come around the inside. You know, and the best case scenario is that we can make really broad strokes in particular areas. Right now, I'm familiarizing myself with the interior and trying to plot out my path, right? So I'm making not quite so broad strokes, but the ideal is to be able to make those broad strokes. And we'll hit areas like the arms and the legs and areas that are less complex where we'll be able to make those nice big broad strokes. All right. If a face isn't forming, as you can see, I'm having to rotate the camera a lot while holding shift. Just adjust your camera so that you can you can form that face. That's all it takes. You know, like you look at the clipping that happens in the model where we're going into the interior of the mesh. Just a simple rotation of the camera will solve those issues. I should probably save. I haven't saved in a little while. That's when I learned modeling in Maya, I'd say the prayer was save and save often. That was the mantra of the class, and it was probably one of the most important things that I learned when I learned how to model. It was just save and save often, and that's good for everything. ZBrush, Maya, doesn't matter. But I'll have to say that the crashes in Maya, and maybe it's just a matter of that I've lived for maybe a more extended period of time inside of ZBrush. But the crashes in Maya seem to happen more unpredictably. Like they catch me off guard way more than the crashes in ZBrush. Crashes in ZBrush can kind of, I don't know, I get like this intuition that it's going to crash on me. I feel the forces of the universe aligning against me. And I go, oh, I better quick save, or I better save. Alright, let's drop in an edge loop here. Bridge there. And as much as I'd like to express all that, you know, cool stuff that the eagle has going on inside of his throat, it's just going to be too expensive for me to do it. There's no way. So, I mean, I'll sculpt that stuff in. It's sort of a hidden part of the creature. So, having that just exist in normal map, I'm okay with that. It's not worth the expenditure that it would take. Or the time. And let's see. Need one more in here. Right there, bridge there. Let's bring that up. You know, I think it might be prudent too for you guys to possibly split up your mesh into multiple pieces depending on the complexity and the density of each piece. And I say that because I want to create a hole for the tongue here. I say that because you're making this a live surface, and depending on your machine, it might tax out your machine really hard, you know. So ways that you could optimize that would be to take out the limbs, well, cut the body in half for one, right? So you're only dealing with half the polys. Then trim the limbs and throw those into a layer. You're just doing, selecting the faces and doing a mesh extract. Alright, so we're approaching the center line here. So I'm just going to create a face just like that. There we go. And then for the formation of this hole, I'm going to take this vert and slide it up. And even my machine is starting to chug on this a bit. And I have a decent, I mean, this is my MacBook, and I have some decent specs on it. I got 16 gigs of RAM. I have 8 cores in here, i7s, and I'm dealing with 16 gigs of RAM. So I mean, it's not like super beefy, but it's not bad. All right, for this area, I'm going to go ahead and go to target weld, and I'm just going to grab this vert and snap it over here. Go back to quad draw. There we go, and that's welded those together. Holding down control, I'm going to drop in an edge loop here to quad that out. I know it's not that visible of an area, but still, I know it's there. So are you guys getting the sort of the flow I'm trying to express to you, and how to move across your creature's face? Do you guys have any questions at the moment? So I'm going to go ahead and delete my history and do another save here. It's going to take a second. So now would be a good time for questions if you do. let's see, edit, delete by type, delete history. And let's save that out. Thanks, Christian. No worries, Manuel. I think I have to rewatch when I actually get to this stage, as I'm still a bit behind in the sculpting stage. Thanks, Simon. Appreciate it. Alright, so we're saved out now, and I'm just going to state it because I want to move on to the body, and just navigating inside of here is going to be a little tricky, but the tongue is essentially going to be an extrusion off a face that comes out here. It's going to be another tube that comes out through here. So I'll finish this off camera, but I'm looking at our time. And I want to get through into the body. So I'm going to leave that incomplete for now. So do you guys have any questions about how I'm going to close this off before I move on from here? Okay. Like, this is pretty straightforward in here, no?